He's saying this is a war. He's telling his generals that get ready for a war within the streets of America.
Warning hundreds of combat-tested generals that the military under his leadership will be dramatically changed. The high male standard will now be the norm.
If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it.
For them. They were so silent, Trump at one point had to plead with them to clap.
So Trump and Hegseth addressed the military generals, not the military, but the military generals this week. And let's see if this video shows what happened.
800 top officers. Secretary Hegseth outlining his vision, what's now expected of those military leaders, and talking about the highest male standard only for all of those who serve in the U.S. military. Then President Trump on stage, the president saying he has told Secretary Hegseth we should use some dangerous cities as training grounds for our military. Here's Martha Raddatz.
In an unprecedented meeting, which the former Weekend Fox and Friends host broadcast live, Secretary Pete Hegseth warning hundreds of combat-tested generals, admirals, and senior officers flown in from around the world that the military under his leadership will be dramatically changed.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. We are done with that.
While the generals and admirals sat largely silent through the speech, Hegseth said military fitness and standards will be enforced. No more fat generals or admirals, he said.
I don't want my son serving alongside troops who are out of shape, or in combat unit with females who can't meet the same combat arms physical standards as men.
For those ground combat roles, which women have been performing for more than a decade, the high male standard will now be the norm.
If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it.
And Hegseth defending the firing of more than a dozen senior officers, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, C.Q. Brown, and the head of the Navy, Lisa Franchetti.
For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons, based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts.
But Hegseth was not just talking personnel, but telling his audience of some of the most experienced warfighters in a generation the military should practice.
In our inner cities, which we're going to be talking about, because it's a big part of war now. It's a big part of war. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy. The ones that are run by the radical left Democrats, what they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places. And we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is...
Right now he's telling the generals that basically the enemy is within the country and all these cities, and we're going to take care of them.
It's going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war for...
He's saying it's calling it a war. He's saying this is a war. He's telling his generals that get ready for a war within the streets of America.
We should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
You know, when I hear a speech like this, two thoughts occur to me, and they're hard to hold in my head at the same time. On the one hand, it's a menacing authoritarian threat to use the military to suppress dissent as some sort of treat for them.
But you know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to walk into a room,
Paid now.
So this is the main part I want to show is the silence of the generals. They were silent the whole time. They never clapped.
Treat for them. They were so silent, Trump at one point had to plead with them to clap.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. You just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team. And I was told that, sir, you won't hear a murmur in the room. I said, we got to loosen these guys up a little bit. So you just have a good time.
Yeah, famously.
So what happened is he walked in, no one clapped, no nothing. So that's a sign that these generals do not respect him.
Yeah.
Okay. And they don't like what he's doing. They don't like his ideas. That's even before he started talking about we should use these cities as training grounds for our military. They were silent the whole time.
Training grounds for our military.
The military leaders in the auditorium showed little reaction to the remarks today, politely clapping at the end of each speech. As officers in uniform, they are prohibited from endorsing political comments. Tom?
All right. Nice. I'll have to try that clip. So basically, Hegseth just stands there and he's like expecting like a clap, and no one claps. Nobody clapped, and he just awkwardly walked off stage. So the reason I'm showing this, I think if it ever comes to the time when Trump goes a little crazy in 2028 and like tries to get, I don't think these generals are going to follow his orders, and I'm happy about that. They don't like what Hegseth's ideas are. I don't think they think Trump is a good leader in the sense of like you shouldn't follow his orders blindly. Like this guy, he'll say orders for his own benefit, I think, or not for the right reasons. He'll do orders. So yeah, so I feel like I can sleep a little better in 2028 knowing that the military is not 100% backing Trump. That's it.
Makes sense. Well, it's good to have opposition. You need to have opposition, especially if it's coming from the military. You
don't want to be a puppet, right? You don't want to be able to.
Yeah, I think for yourself.
But they understand the military is set up in a way that they have chain of command. You have to follow orders. You can't go against an order, right? And I feel more comfortable now that these guys did not pamper Trump. They did not clap every time he said something, not laugh every time he said something. So
the lady just said though, like, they can't really endorse any political views either.
They're not supposed to, yes. And they're not supposed, the Hegseth and Trump, they're not supposed to be political when they do a speech. They're just supposed to be more general about the military and stuff like that. He was being very political. They're saying presidents before never said in the sense of like talking about the other political party or members of their.
Sure.
It's always about uniting the military, uniting the country, making the military represent all Americans and protect America from enemies from outside the country, not enemies in the country, right? And I think they shut up and they go, this guy, we're not endorsing that, we're not clapping for that, and good for them.